welcome to the first webinar organized by the Statistics Division of MPEDA. We are starting this webinar series from today onwards. It will be a plan for a quarterly edition of statistics data dissemination through this webinar. So we'll be dealing with the statistics of the first half of this 2020-21. So I hand over to Sri Anil Kumar, Joint Director MPEDA, to start the introduction of this webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gibin. Very good afternoon to all the participants, panelists, and our director. We have more than 135 registered participants in this event. We are doing it for the first time, a sharing of the statistics information. I think the webinar is the first time, and we welcome each one of you to this event. And now we have among us Director MPEDA, Dr. Karthikeyan, and Seafood Exporters Association All India President, Sri Jagdish Fofandi, Seafood Exporters Association President Kerala Chapter, Sri Alex Ninan, and I welcome all three of you to this event. And Dr. Gibin will be giving the presentation.
Thank you.
Thereafter, we will be having a question answer session where our esteemed panel members, Sri Jagdish Fofandi, Sri and our Sri Alex Ninan will be the panelists. You can ask all the questions which you would like to ask. There is a Q&A facility there in the chat. Please send your questions in the chat box. We will note it down, and after the presentation is over, we will answer. And another couple of things I would like to highlight for your attention is, in addition to the question answer session, I would like you to give your valuable feedback. See, we are doing it for the first time. So if you give your feedback, which is very, very valuable for us to plan our future programs. So please give your feedback during or after the program, immediately after the program you would prefer. There is a facility in the system. And we will also be posing some questions during the webinar, during the session, as poll to get your opinion on various issues. So 4 or 5 polls will be coming. Please do participate. Now I think all the VIPs have come and ready. So before we start, may I request Director MPEDA, Dr. Karthikeyan, to give the introductory remarks. Director, sir.
So a very good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to our National President, our State President Alex G, and our JD, the organizing this webinar, and all our exporters who have joined from different states, and also our friends in different places who have joined this meeting, and our regional officers. It's a really wonderful opportunity to address you all. And MPEDA, as you all know, that we have taken keen interest in promoting the exports. And during this particular year, and everyone is aware, like the pandemic, it has affected globally the exports. Most of the countries were affected, and India is also not spared. And our exports, though we are trying to push the exports, but it's still not happening to the level what we are wanting to happen. So all the exporters know very well that we are facing issues in many other countries, not only because of COVID pandemic, but also due to other quality related issues. So this webinar has been organized by MPEDA to ensure that our exporters are aware of what is happening in the different countries which are importing our seafood, and where are the opportunities which are available in countries where we can extend our market, and so that there is a good connect between our exporters and the importers in different countries. So we are also organizing several buyer-seller meets. We are also organizing several meetings with different country embassies. Through embassies, we are organizing several meetings that is helping our exporters to have some interaction with the importing nations, so that we know what is happening in those nations, and we are able to handle those exports, what is happening right now. As you all aware that our exports have come down drastically. Almost 20% of our exports have come down compared to the last year during this present 6 months, from April to October. Though it is not totally a confirmed figure, but it's provisionally, if you see, it's almost 20% down. So we need to, and the exports are increasing for the last 2-3 months, though we are not able to catch up to the same export as last year, but we are trying to catch up the exports. Hopefully, another 6 months we will be able to export a little higher, and we will be able to get the last year revenue, like what we got during last year, almost 46,000 crores. So this year we are yet to catch the half mark also. We are only around 20,000 crores. So we should be able to increase the exports. So this webinar, which is being organized by MPEDA, should be able to help all our exporters to know what is happening, and to ensure that they can help the sector to increase the exports. So I wish the seminar a great success. I think our national president has taken time in joining the meeting to act as a facilitator, as well as our Alex G is also there. So he will also help in conducting the seminar in a very successful manner. So anyway, our experienced Joint Director Marketing is also there. He is well experienced in the field, and we have Gibin, who is now handholding the meetings, particularly related to market promotion. So I wish all the success to this webinar. I don't want to go into much of technical issues because our people are all there to talk about the technical issues. So all the best, Gibin. Please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. As you rightly said, we are going through difficult times, not only because of the epidemic. Our friends in Tamil Nadu is experiencing the effect of cyclone now. Please, Chennai, please take care. We are all with you. We are praying for you. Please take care. And now, as Director said, the exports is facing challenges. At the same time, there are opportunities also. As he was mentioning, we are able to participate in multiple events which we otherwise could not have participated, especially with conducting buyer-seller meets virtually, meetings like this. These are the new opportunities we got. Now, I won't keep you away from the interesting presentation my colleague Dr. Gibin is going to make. I request Dr. Gibin, who is the Deputy Director of Statistics and Market Promotion. He is sitting in our Cochin head office. I request him to start his presentation. Dr. Gibin, please.
Thank you, Director Sir and Joint Director Sir, for the kind words. So I will directly go to the presentation without taking much time. So our presentation, can you see the slide now? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, visible. Given, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's visible. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this presentation we actually planned for April to September. So last week we got the provisional figures of October also. So we have added some October figures also to make it more valid and up to date. So we'll go directly to this presentation. This presentation consists of 3 parts. The first part is consisting of the export statistics, which is created by the extensive effort of our field officers by filling in the shipping bills into our statistical software, and that part has been done up to September 2020. And for October, we have collected the provisional figures. So that is the first part. And second part is regarding the aquaculture production and area and other details that has been collected by our aquaculture section of MPEDA through our field officers. That they are also dedicated for collecting this valid data on aquaculture. And third part consists of the capture fisheries, marine capture fisheries information that has been collected through our society, Netfish. So we have appointed almost 100 harbor data collectors in 100 harbors throughout the maritime states of our country. So they are giving live daily information. They are keying in through our CAT certificate website, and we are consolidating that details in the third part of this presentation. So we'll move on to the first part. Great competitions from China, Chile, Netherlands, China, Canada, Thailand, Ecuador, and USA as well. So currently we are maintaining, for the last 2-3 years, we are maintaining the 4th position in the global seafood trade. So we can see the last decade we have performed a lot from 2010 to 11. 10-11 from our export of 2.8 billion, we have reached the all-time high of $7 billion US dollars. So, but for the last 2 years, there have been a slight dip in the exports. So we are now, in the last year, we have pegged to about 6.7 billion US dollars. So here are the provisional figures we have collected from April to October. April to September, we have already keyed in the shipping bill details, and for October we have used the provisional figures, information collected from the exporter through our field officers. So it is now having a negative growth about so total exports during up to April to October. It is, in quantity wise, it is about quantity wise is 5,95,169 metric tons of marine products, and in rupee value it's about 24,042, and in US dollars it is 3,383 million US dollar million. So all the three are experiencing a negative growth of 24%, 16%, and 18% respectively. So it is a bad situation for the marine sector, marine products export sector. So you can see the values in the graph below also. It's comparing the 2019 and 20. There are drastic difference in the performance of the exports. So coming, we can see in this line diagram also, we can see the performance in the last year in the blue line. So it was in a steady line with increasing exports. So in the red line, we can see the this year's current year export up to October. So it was started in from to the 300 million US dollars. Now it has reached in October about 598 million US dollars. So this is one of the slides that we have used to defend that we are performing better from the April onwards. If you can see the April figures, the negative growth was up to minus 45% in terms of quantity, and 38% in terms of US dollar. So as we move from April, May, June, July, August, September and October, that negative growth has been reduced in US dollar wise to 17%. From 38% has reduced to 17%, and US dollar terms negative growth, it was reduced from 45 to 11%. That is the positive thing we have to see. So we are anticipating a positive growth in the coming months also. So in the export, that quantity wise and other details are available up to September only. So September up to September, April, September details, we can see the quantity wise exports. The frozen shrimp is the major contributor with 61% of the total exports in terms of quantity. And value wise, you can see it is contributing about 81% of the total exports. We can see the quantity wise frozen shrimp ranks second, and followed by others. This is a significant shift from the last year's exports. Usually a frozen shrimp, frozen fish, frozen cuttlefish, frozen squid used to rank in the first four positions. Now these others have come in quantity wise as well as in value wise also. Value wise it is second now, others, and quantity wise also others is second. This because of we have observed that the exports of surmi and surmi analog products, that is main contributor of this in the others category, that have fared much better during this period of April to September. That has contributed to their shift from third to fourth position to the second position in the value-wise exports of marine products. So by quantity, frozen shrimp, fish, and others contribute about 84.98% of the total exports, and by value, shrimp, other items, and fish contributes 91% of the total revenue of our marine exports. So we can see this is just comparison of last year. The red one is the last year and the blue one is the current year. So both we can see almost all areas in frozen shrimp, frozen fish, cuttlefish, crude, other items, still items, all are experiencing negative growth in terms of quantity as well as in terms of value in US dollar. So when we look at the market share, so market share, USA retained their first position with the 29% in terms of quantity, followed by China with the 22% of quantity, Southeast Asia, European Union, and others. So while seeing the value wise, US dollar wise graph, USA is still leading with 41% of the total US dollar earnings from the exports, followed by China, European Union, and others. Southeast Asia, which used to be the second and first position, second position earlier, it has now value-wise, it was moved to the sixth position. And value-wise quantity, USA, China, Southeast Asia contribute 77% of total quantity, and USA, China, Southeast Asia contribute 77.5% of this value. And in market-wise, you can see most of the markets in quantity-wise, it is showing a negative trend. Almost all blue lines are down below the red line. So almost all markets are experiencing negative growth. But when we see the value-wise market, you can see positive growth in one or two markets, especially in the Japan and in others. Other countries include around 44 countries, in which Russia, Canada, that are the top two contributors in the others category. They contribute in others. They contribute about 76.59% in the US dollar by Russia and Canada. This Russia and Canada exports have been increased, so it has contributed to the positive growth in the other market category. So this is the total graph, total table of the item-wise exports of marine products from April to September period. In this, we can see the growth is almost negative, but one specific thing is the increment in the unit value realization. Frozen shrimp, frozen skewed, live items, and other items. They have displayed a positive growth in the terms of unit value. So positive growth in the unit value, and in the total also there is a positive growth of 12% in the unit value. This is one of the important slides that exporters have to look at. The major item-wise in top 5 countries, how these items are faring in the countries. So the frozen shrimp, it is the major item. So top countries, top markets for frozen shrimp is USA, China, Japan, Vietnam, and Canada. So you can analyze those who are exporting to these markets. We can see the position of that particular product in that all these 5 top markets. And you can see frozen fish. China comes first. China with 55%, then followed by Thailand, Tunisia, USA, Hong Kong. Tunisia recently has come to the picture. It has recorded about 6.43% of the total frozen fish exports from our country. And coming to frozen fish, cuttlefish and skewed, as usual, Spain consumes the major chunk from the Indian marine products. In cuttlefish, the second position is China, followed by Italy, Vietnam, and Portugal. And for skewed, Spain follows the afterwards Thailand, Italy, USA, and China. In the dried item, the major countries are Hong Kong, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and Australia. And live items, mainly the ornamental fish and other fishes. Singapore ranks the first, followed by China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Taiwan. In chilled item, the major consumer is UAE with 28%, followed by Qatar, another Middle East country, and Kuwait is also there. So three: UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait. The Middle East is the major consumer of our chilled marine products, and Bangladesh and USA is also occupying third and fourth position in our chilled fish exports. In other category, mainly as I saw, surmi and surmi analog products, Japan, USA, China, Taiwan, and Thailand. So they are top in the others category. So we can see the market-wise composition. Only as already shown the earlier graph, Japan and other markets, they have showed the positive growth in terms of US dollar. Japan has shown a increment or positive growth of 6.69% in terms of US dollars, and other market has got a higher growth of 32.9% in terms of US dollar. So these are the top 10 countries of Indian marine products exports. So USA ranks the first, followed by China, Japan, Vietnam, Spain, UAE, Canada, UK, Belgium, and Netherlands. So you can see their contribution, and this 10 countries contribution is about 82%. So they are the major buyers of our seafood products. So they offer this top 10 countries. They are the, even though they are the major buyers of our Indian marine products, they also offer a lot of scope. Ample scope is there for improving the market share of these countries. So Spain, you can see our share, Indian share is only 2%, and United Kingdom 3%, Netherlands 3%, Japan only 3%, Canada and Belgium 5% each, China having 8% of our Indian products. United States and Vietnam, UAE, they are about 10%, and the UAE is the most, is the major partner. These are all the major partners of Indian seafood exports, partner countries. So in these countries itself, we have got ample scope for improving our market marketing. So with improving the market strategies, we can our exporters can do much, can perform much better in these countries itself. So this is the main top 10 countries already having experience with the Indian products. So exporters has to give more focus in these countries itself. The port-wise exports, you can see Vizag is handling about 30% and performing top in our ports, followed by JNPT and Kolkata. Kochi port is fourth position with the 10.6%. The other major ports are Krishnapatnam, Pipavav, Tuticorin, Chennai, Kattupalli, and Mangalore. This slide we have added specifically to show that MPEDA has issued during this COVID period, April to October, during these difficult times. We have tried to issue almost all certificates in online form, including the DS2031 certificate, CAT certificate, EU CAT certificates, PHC certificates, and you can see the certificate of origin, which we have started issuing from April 2020 onwards. From mere 100 in the last year, we have already issued up to October. We have issued about 4,839 exporters, which include APTA, IJSEPA, EFTA, including all this certificate of origin certificate we are issuing. So this shows a major cooperation from our exporters also, relying on MPEDA for obtaining such certificates. So shifting from we are highlighting some of the current market issues in some of the major markets. As you know, it's a EU market. The antibiotic is a major issue, and sampling from 50% sampling of Indian marine products, and delisting and not relisting of our establishment, that are all contributing into some of the barriers for trade with EU. And USA, they are also imposing a lot of restriction in the form of Section 609 for sea turtles, Marine Mammal Protection Act, anti-dumping duty. Then other food service sector that is not working this time, so that takeaway is very less. And other markets like China, it is having the white spot issue, IHHNV issue, the listing of marine species, Indian marine species has not listed in their customs list, then delayed cargo clearance, then payment realized after COVID-19 clearance, a lot of issues with China. Also, this is just to make aware that current issues we are having with our market. Japan is already reduced the testing from 100 to 30% for the black tiger shrimp, but Wanami shrimp, they are doing 100% sampling till now. Then Thailand is having the issues of IMNV virus, INMV, and Australia, Saudi, Kuwait is having the white spot disease syndrome. Canada is having Susanary certificate issue. South Africa is having the issue with Vibrio species. Sri Lanka, now they have closed for our dry fish market. It's the 4th largest market of our dry fish. So now they have stopped. So that section with export section, it has been completed. Now we'll move to the culture section. So we'll see the statistics of the culture system, how it has performed during this period. So last year we have about 7.47 lakh production, shrimp production during the last financial year, and with an area of operation about 1.58 lakh hectares. So this time, this area under culture, we can see that area suitable for our aquaculture, which is very large. Potential is very large in our country, but we are utilizing only 30% of our exports, 30% of the available area. So last year production is about 7.47 lakh tons. So there's a positive sign while we have collected, our field officers have collected the first crop result, first crop production report of Wanami. So in 2020-21, there have been an increase of 4% increase in the production compared to last year 2019-20, and area of culture also increased about 18% from 1.2 lakhs to 1.47 lakh. It has increased. And production has increased during the last year compared to last year from 4.6 to 4.89 metric tons. So this production increase we are expecting to reflecting in the next 2-3 months of export. So this is a familiar thing. So we all know that Wanami shrimps are occupying the chunk of our aquaculture production. So other shrimps, Cambi, tiger shrimps, fishes, are not contributing much to the export basket. So we need much activities related to diversification in order to have a perfect cushion of our export market. So now we will move to the capture fishery section. So we have a estimated, last year we have a estimated potential of 3.49 million tons. And it is contributing 1.1% of our GDP and 5.15% of our agricultural GDP. So comparing the figures, the last year figures, we can see a reduction in about 17%, 17% of reduction in production. This statistics has been collected by our net fish from the 100 harbors where we have posted the harbor data collectors where they are collecting and direct landing data from these harbors. So we are Netfish, our extension arm, is compiling this statistical data from all these harbors and provided the information below. So there is a reduction of 17%. So after the trawl ban, even though the fishing started in August, also it is not happened in full-fledged. So, but now September and October, the fishing is increasing. It's almost trying to cope up with this last year's production. So you can see the state-wise production from the marine sector. Gujarat is number one for the last 3 months, August to October in this year. So Gujarat ranks the first, followed by Maharashtra and West Bengal. So state-wise landings, you can see that during October, the landings from Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat, that light blue color line is showing higher landings in these months. So major items, comparing to the last 3 months, the major items landed is during August it was Japanese threadfin bream, Indian mackerel, croaker, karikadi shrimp and Bombay duck. In September this year, ribbonfish, croaker, karikadi, Bombay duck and Japanese breams were the top 5 commodity in the September. And in October, the triggerfish landings have increased, followed by ribbonfish, karikadi shrimp, Bombay duck and croaker. So state-wise comparison, you can see Gujarat and Maharashtra is leading. So you can this is a species-wise comparison during from in the last year and this year. The total species comparison or structure itself has been changed in the 2 seasons. In 2019, the karikadi shrimp was the top, but in August it has become the Japanese threadfin bream, mackerel, croaker came into the picture. So in September 2019, ribbonfish, cuttlefish were the top. But in September 20, ribbonfish retained the top position, but croaker and karikadi shrimp has landed more during the September period. And in October, ribbonfish landings has reduced, replaced by the triggerfish landings. So the cuttlefish in October, cuttlefish has not reflected in the top 5 species during from the landings in October 2020. So if we go to the state-wise information, West Bengal we have got about 7 harbors covered by the HDCs, and the main species are croaker, karikadi, Bombay duck, sardine, and puvalan from the West Bengal state, and Shakarpur and Despran are the top landing centers, with more landings are observed during the months of September and October. So West Bengal, you can see Shankarpur and Despran in October they have fared much more landings are observed during the months of October this year. Coming to Odisha, we have got 5 harbors covered: Bahawalpur, Balramgadi, Balagon, Dhamra, and Paradip. And the major fishes were croaker, karikadi shrimp, ribbonfish, black fromfet, and 3-sport swimming craft. So in Paradip, the landings are more, followed by Balramgadi in Odisha. In Andhra Pradesh, we got HDCs covered 6 harbors. So the highest landings are observed in Visakhapatnam, with skipjack tuna being the major species, followed by yellowfin tuna, karikadi shrimp, speckled shrimp, and carden. Mostly shrimp and tuna found in the Andhra coast. So this is the comparison, but in Nisampatnam, Machilipatnam, Kakinada, and Vadarevu, the October landings found to be a little bit higher, even in Pudimadakada. Tamil Nadu, we have more harbors covered. Around 22 harbors have covered for collecting data by harbor data collectors. So Chennai, Nagapatnam, Tharavakulam, and Tengapatnam harbors fared better during the months of August, September, and October also. The main species in Tamil Nadu during last 2 months were September they have tuna, squid, etc., cuttlefish, etc. Then in October they have more landings of oil sardine, cuttlefish, scad, squid, and skipjack tuna. Kerala also we have covered around 20 harbors. So SDCs are collecting the daily details from these harbors, and it is observed that in Munambam, Shaktikulangara are the major harbors, followed by Kayangulam, where they're having the maximum landings during these months of August, September, and October this year. And the major species in Kerala, in September it was mackerel, and this year month it is Indian scad, followed by mackerel, squid, Japanese threadfin bream, and lizard fish. And going up to Karnataka, we have got 9 harbors covered by SDCs, and Malpe and Mangalore are the major landing centers. So major fish species landed there are triggerfish, mainly feeding the surmi industry, followed by Indian scad, Japanese threadfin bream, Indian mackerel, and falstrawal. Goa, we have got 4 harbors covered, and Malim is the major landing center in Goa, with giving moonfish, torpedo scad, little tunas, Indian scad, and squid in the month of October. So Maharashtra, we have got about 15 harbors, in that Newfari Wharf and Sasundok and Ratnagiri. These 3 are the major harbors where largest landings are found in the state of Maharashtra. So major species during the September month were Bombay duck, pomfret, croaker, ribbonfish, and karandan. And in October month, the species changed to karikadi, Bombay duck, croaker, doma croaker, Indian squid, and karandan. So earlier in Newfari Wharf and Ratnagiri, there used to be large quantity of mackerel. This time, there is no mackerel landings found in Maharashtra coast. So we can see the highest landings in Newfari Wharf, Sasundok, and Ratnagiri. So finally, we came to Gujarat. We have got 12 harbors covered in Gujarat state. So Mangrol, Veraval, Vanakbara, and Porbandar being the major landing centers. And this month we have got ribbonfish, needle cuttlefish, sea catfish, Bombay duck, and squid major landings in this area. So Gujarat is the top fish producer, followed by Maharashtra. So coming to the end of this presentation, we have concluding the export part, that the export has declined when compared to last year in 2019, but the situation is improving each month, being the in the negative growth is being reduced from 48% to now almost 17%. So we'll be expecting a maximum of 10% difference in the final export percentage during this financial year, and there is an overall improvement in unit value is observed. About 12% growth, mainly in shrimp, live fish, and dry fish we have observed, and other category, surmi and log products, we have observed high unit value. And 80% is contributed by frozen shrimp, and USA, China, EU, and Japan contribute 78.5% of the total US dollar earnings. There is a specific exports of surmi and log product. This is a value-added product, convenience, ready-to-eat or ready-to-cook product, which has been having a lot of demand in this COVID period. So coming to the top 10 countries, they are contributing around 82% of our total value. Even though most of the exports are happening, so they still offer ample scope for our exporters for further market expansion in these 10 countries. And mostly we have conducted a lot of webinars. In this, almost all the webinar speakers have expressed that the online marketing is picking up in almost all countries, all markets. So we advise our exporters to start online marketing to cope up with this difficult time, COVID time. And in aquaculture, we can conclude that last year's production was over 7.47 lakh, and area under culture is 1.58 lakh hectares. So only 30% of our potential is utilized. There is ample scope in developing more areas for aquaculture to increase the production. Even the first crop itself has given a positive growth of 4% in production, and area of under culture is also increased by 18% in the aquaculture sector. And the capture fisheries also we can conclude by there is a 17% reduction when compared to last year. Production is reduced by 17%, but during August to October, Gujarat is the top producer, followed by Maharashtra and West Bengal. And major items are Japanese threadfin bream, ribbonfish, triggerfish, Karikade shrimp, and crocus. There is no mackerel and other major species like sardine, mackerel. Squid and cuttlefish has not been reflected in the top species of our landings, so it may have effect in the next year's or current year's export figures. So thank you everybody for the patient listening. So I conclude this with presentation. So now it is open for discussion. So Anil sir can moderate the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gibin. It was you finished in time. You know, the timing is perfect, and it was a lot of figures and graphs. Still, you could explain it very nicely. Thank you for the nice presentation. And we have our panelists now. Before I come to the panelists, what I would request the participants of this webinar is, please give your feedback, so which will help us to improve, because some people are sending through WhatsApp and other messages, but please put it in the feedback so that we can statistically analyze and come to a conclusion. We are getting very good feedback. We will try to make it more easily understood in our next programs, if you all like to have that. Definitely, these are for provisional figures. As you are aware, we are collecting the export data based on the shipping bill, and the bill of lading and all that we get from the exporters. So that is why it takes time for us to collect this information manually and enter into a database. That is why even now it is provisional. But by next financial year, we will definitely come up with an online system which will be helpful for exporters also to enter the data, so that this manual process can be avoided. And we will be able to come out with more final figures in a more faster way. So that software development is in progress. Regarding the collection of our capture fisheries data, as Dr. Gibin said, we have more than 100 harbor data collectors in each of these 100 harbors, where they have a tab with them, and they note down the quantity of the fish, various types of species landed, which boat, and all that. Based on that is more or less current data, daily data we get uploaded online. And aquaculture data we collect from various sources. Our field office people go to the field and collect it from various sources. So that is also, so far, even last year's figures and all that, so far the data, when we compare it with the export figures and all that, the aquaculture data is very, very close to the real data. That's what we could assume. Now, my esteemed panelists, we are getting few questions. But before I go into questions, as we all seen, the summary of our export performance is that there is a 19% reduction in value, which personally I feel that it will improve once we get more data incorporated. Maybe it may come down to 15% decline. And while at the same time we can see that some markets have shown a positive growth, not only in terms of unit value. Shrimp in general has shown increased unit value, but some markets like Japan, Canada, Russia has shown increased increase in the exports. We have to think, maybe you can put your thoughts into it and give an answer to this, why these markets have shown increased exports or increased consumption. And the other factor is that in the category others we are seeing positive growth. So we have received a couple of questions asking which item in the other category. We have classified the export categories as frozen shrimp, frozen cuttlefish, squid, dried items, like that. 6 items we have. Then the last item is others. So in the others, which item is showing positive growth? And I can give you an answer to that. The answer is that we have got very good growth in surumi and surumi analog products, which I would infer that because of this the lockdown period, only the people would have preferred for surumi and surumi analog products, which are definitely much more affordable than shrimp or bluefin tuna or that high value items or salmon. Probably that may be the reason, and only people who were happy during the lockdown period is fish in the sea, because there were nobody to catch them. So that's why we are seeing a positive growth in capture fisheries production also. With this short brief, I would request our Jagdish ji to give his views, and after that I would request Alex ji to continue. Jagdish ji, can you give us a brief overview of how do you feel from exporters' side about the export performance?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are very much audible. Please.
Okay. Very good afternoon to you, Mr. Anil. Anil Saab, Zibin, congratulations for your nice presentation. Big hello to my colleague Alex, and I'm sure all my industry friends are here listening to what I have to say and what has been said so far. On the onset, I would like to congratulate MPEDA chairman and his team for continuously being on the side of the trade in good and bad times both, and this information assimilation series of webinars with our potential buyers and our buyers who are already in place, and all this activities have always helped the industry, and I would like to thank you and your entire team for that. There have been figures. The data has been very elaborate. It has been very extensive, and we are also coming very close to reality now with the right method of data collection being adopted now with MPEDA. Like what Mr. Anil has said, that the aquaculture figures are much more closer to the export figures in terms of whatever data you have collected. Of course, I personally see there's a lot of scope of improvement as far as the data collection of captured fisheries is concerned. Eventually, I am sure you will come to a stage where we are close to reality. And I would urge our exporters and even the fishermen to give correct information and help you in your effort to, give us the right information to the country, to the exporters, to the fishermen, and also to our potential buyers. There are a couple of things which I would like to mention here is, I think, of course, we are very disheartened, and we are very, especially all our exporters are in a state of, not so good mindset, because we've seen when you see a drop of 17%, as you said, the direct impact is on our costs, and most of our exporters are suffering a lot at this point of time. But hoping against hope, things will improve. Seeing at the aquaculture side, things do not look so bad. But I just like to quickly comment on your observation on other markets like Japan and showing positive growth. To my mind, that growth is on account of loss of markets in all our major markets, and that is where our exporters have strived and struggled and tried to get into new markets, or our old markets like Japan, which used to be a very good market at one point of time where we dropped out. But now again, our exporters have gone back to these markets and started looking for greener pastures. Of course, there's one more slide which was very interesting, is where in most of the major markets, our contribution to that market export is very, very low. So we see a potential there, and we see a ray of hope there. So I'm sure taking all this information, our exporters will look into these markets, try and establish new buyers, see what products these markets require, and likewise we will improve our presence in those markets also. So if there has been a positive growth in X, Y, and Z or a couple of markets, it has been on account of the exporters trying to save on or salvage the markets which we have lost out to, especially the European Union and the Chinese market, which is under stress at this point of time because of obvious reasons which everyone knows. But what I, as an exporter or head of the exporters fraternity, a very worrying feature here is that the capture fisheries is on the decline, and the decline is going to affect livelihoods of a lot of people. And of course, when we are happy that the other part, or especially Surmi and Surmi analog side, has increased, but as an exporter or as a person, I mean, as an Indian, is a little worrying figure for me, for the reason that it seems, I mean, being in Gujarat, I know what is happening. So a lot of juvenile fish catching is taking place. When you say ribbon fish, there's small ribbon fish which is being caught and which is being used for surmi. So that is, I mean, for me, is not a very positive sign. Then there is one species in Karnataka which has come up to be the largest species caught, which of course is going to surmi, and that is what has amounted to growth in the surmi part. So I don't know whether our markets are asking surmi as there's a pull in the market, but primarily see, these markets buy what we can produce. I mean, it is not, we are not producing what our markets are buying, but generally the exporters are able to push what they are producing into various markets, and that is how it happens. So what we need to look at is the production part mainly, because I would like to congratulate my exporters. They have been able to help the country sell whatever has been produced by our farmers and our fishermen. But on the other side, it looks like that the seas are on a lot of stress, and all of us put together, we have been discussing this at our platform in the association. We're going to approach the fisheries department. I have spoken to the MPEDA chairman on this juvenile fish catch, which has been rampant these days. Ribbon fish, like I told you, and fishes like those, which were once a tradable size, we were getting a very good price for that. But because of the juvenile size being caught is going to surmi, and I think we should not be happy about this. So all in all, what I would like to stress here is that I think COVID has really had a very, very bad impact on the entire seafood industry, more so on the capture side. The aquaculture side is looking bright in terms of production. We've been able to sell our products. That all is fine. But if you see from the farmer's perspective, it is being observed that there is a lot of stress on the cost side. So all our inputs have, cost on our inputs have increased, because of very obvious reasons, which I would not like to discuss now. But then those are the areas where we all need to lay our focus on. And I think maybe my colleague will have something to say, Alex. But this is what broadly the industry is going through. And I think all of us need to pull up our socks and try and see that with the aquaculture side of our industry, also the capture side of our industry is first sustained. Second, we maintain growth there. And third is that we also look at the value addition. I mean, see, the aquaculture side has been fantastic. Why we see a unit value realization increase in the aquaculture side is because our exporters have able to put in more money, pump in money, have state-of-art lines, have been able to develop products which now, which India is proudly at the world-class levels. So likewise, in the capture side, there is a lot of scope of improvement. Our exporters, because of underutilization of their capacities, are under stress. And I don't want to only say all the negative sides, but then the fact of the matter is that these are all the situational things which are there now. And I would like to, since I have got this opportunity to speak here, we have Alex, first-hand victim of COVID. We would pray God that he's already recovered, but he stays healthy like this. But then our labor, we have a huge workforce whom we are related to, and there are a lot of farmers, a lot of your fishermen who are there. So from this platform, I would like to sound vigil to all of us that we should be very careful. be very careful and follow the protocol, which is fantastic, which has been laid down by MPEDA. I would like to congratulate you on that also, and I would urge all our exporters to be more vigilant. And best of luck for the coming season. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jagdish, for the very thoughtful observations. Yes, we fully agree with you that we need to be very alert. There are certain good things about the difficult times also. You know, as they say, when one door closes, another door opens. You know, before I go to Alex G, I have a couple of questions had come. One is why Japan and Canada and Russia is showing increased exports. What is your take on that? I would guess that fishing, Japan and Russia, especially Canada Canada also, it depend upon capture fisheries a lot. Maybe because of the reduction in supply from capture fisheries, probably they must have imported more. What would be your take on that?
Alex, are you answering or shall I answer, Alex?
You can answer. I will go to Alex after that.
Okay. See, there are a couple of things. See, Canada specifically has started accepting Indian products in the last few years. If you see, Canada has already started looking at India as a potential supplier. So they have been trying to get in touch with a lot of people. More agents have come up. More buyers are interested in this part of the world. So, the Canada was not looking at India before, but now Canada has started looking at India as a potential supplier because they are assured that we have a high quality product, we have a safe product in India. So that has amounted to Canada opening up as a market for the Indian products. That is one part. Of course, shrimp, or specifically shrimp, which is now ready to cook or ready to eat levels. Because of the COVID scenario, people have, and shrimp is a easier product to cook if you see in any seafood part. So I think that may have amounted to Canada growing as a market. As far as Japan is concerned, I believe the farmers have also switched to black tiger as in their farming practices. So that of course has directly impacted the growth in Japan. And Japan has now started because if you see, they have reduced the sampling size and everything. So BT has already made its mark again. Japan, which was the primary buyer of black tiger, then there were a lot of issues which came up. But now I think Japan has gained confidence in our product, and so gradually they're getting back to the Indian black tiger product. With that, I see Japan also will start looking at Venami, because as of now, since they are 100% sampling, but eventually once they gain confidence, I think Japan is one potential market which has scope to grow. So I think that's a good sign, and these are what the reasons I believe have led to the increase in the market share. Increase in exports to these two markets which you are referring to.
Thank you. And now I would request our Alex G to share your view. Alex G, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anil. At the outset, let me thank the director, Dr. Karthikeyan, sir, for his warm welcome and introductory remarks. And Dr. Anil, thank you so much for having me in this web talk, and Dr. Gibin as well, and my dear National President, Mr. Jagdish. He's already thanked everyone, and his beautiful remark also, and he has told you the present situation where we are in right now, and where we stand, and how we really have to go about also. Probably, what I have to say here is probably just going back, actually, just what really happened. Last year we had the seafood show in China. So there again, after that, then there was a lot of turn of events that happened, actually. Then we had our IISS, so which we managed to put up very good show, but in spite of COVID, COVID starting at that time. But there again, so things are not looking very good. So the Chinese people did not turn up, and the downward trend started from there. So now what? See, as an exporter, So generally what I feel is, see, our main season is during Easter and the summer holidays. So that generally happens during months of May, June, July. Those are the peak times actually. So that's when generally the winter season is off. So the sun starts coming out, then people start going out, they go to restaurants, they start eating out. So we generally, what we do is all exporters, especially the high value products, we really start stocking for shipments for this period actually. So again, so we try and stock up, and so that's the time we normally get a premium price also for our products. So as usual, we stocked our products. So by the time, so the shipments generally happen during end of March and April. So I mean, once the shipment happens, so it has reached by May, June, July. So that's generally what we plan our shipments for. So unfortunately, it was at that time the lockdown was declared, and we were totally in panic. So all the exporters, like there were people who had cargo on the seas, so they had to sell it at through prices. Some people had to bring it back. They had to face huge discounts, and I mean every exporter suffered. Now that was one. So and secondly, the other thing what we had to do was see, we have a huge labor force behind us. So we have to maintain them. See, they've been trained. Over the years they've been trained. We've spent a lot of money. A lot of training has been imparted to them, and it was at a point, where we couldn't let them go off. So if we let them go off, we are not sure if they're going to come back, or that was one major concern. So we had, even during the lockdown period, we had to maintain them. And so what happened after that was then the farmers, they also, people who had their harvest due, they also went into panic. They had to do harvest, and they also suffered a lot. So then came the capture sector. So the entire fishing boats, they had to, because owing to all these social distancing issues, you're not allowed to crowd around and all those things. All fishing activity was totally stopped. So it really put everything in total turmoil actually. And so we actually were trying, especially when I look at the state of Kerala, I think we were one of the badly affected ones. And now we still have a lot of positive cases out there. I think, now one of the highest in the country only. So even in spite of having so many, so much of precaution that we have taken, still, things are not looking good at all. Now, so what really happened? And right now, we are trying to recover. So we are trying to recover from what we have faced. We still haven't recovered from that. Now we have got some amount as an interim relief. So that has added to our loans again. Now people, especially on the people West Coast and South East Coast, people who are dependent on capture fisheries, they have been badly affected. Now, if you look at the landing of squid, cuttlefish and all, it's really gone down. And now, as our president rightly pointed out, now this issue of catching juvenile fish is a major concern. If you look at state of Kerala, they have laws in place to penalize people who are bringing in juvenile fishes. But unfortunately, the other states are not following this. So if they catch juvenile fish, they won't land it in Kerala, but they're taking it to other states, which is devastating. The other day, our president organized a meeting, and some pictures also were shared, which was really shocking, actually. We have tiny reef caughts, I think from 50 gram onwards. They're being caught and in huge volumes. And I understood that nearly every boat was bringing in about 15 to 20 tons of small, tiny fishes, which was going for the fish meal and surimi, which is not a good sign at all. Now, since you said that there was a growth in surimi, maybe this is a reason, because there's nothing else you can do about those products. You get it very cheap, agreed. But anyway, surimi exports have gone up for that reason. So these are the main factors, I think, and that really attributed to the present situation also. So I think, I think probably we will take any other questions also? Maybe yes. I don't want to add anything more like what the president has said.
Thank you, Alex. You had given a very excellent analysis of the current situation, and I agree that in capture fisheries we are facing a huge challenge. And as you have pointed out, laws are in place, but enforcement is not happening in most of the states. We are also aware. We are also aware of the juvenile fish landings and discussions you had. We are also discussing this, and probably we are working on it. Something could possibly happen. And what is your take on the the Japan, Russian, and Canadian market? What do you think could be the possible reasons for increase in exports?
Now, see, on Canada, initially, Canada and Australia are two countries who are free of WSSP. So, barring those two countries, so Canada initially was very scared, or even we were also scared to ship to Canada, because they have a law in place where, if they were found positive for WSSP, it is outrightly rejected, because those two countries, Australia and Canada, they do not have WSS in their waters. So that is one reason. Now, here we are in a situation where we are almost, China was a huge market for us. Now we are totally almost close to China right now. The market is closed for us right now. So we are looking for alternatives, and people are really desperate. Exporters are really desperate, actually. That probably is one of the reasons now we have to look for markets. Though being risky, but still we need to. Another issue is, if you look at Europe also, a lot of our exporters have also gone bankrupt. We really don't know who the real people who have money, or probably who are credible also, to whom we can really export. So we actually are facing a lot of difficulties also at the present moment. Now, adding to all this, recently we have this issue of shortage of containers, and which is a major concern. Now, yesterday we had a chat with DP World. In the port of Cochin, we had a chat with DP World officials, and what came out was, all the containers, the boxes have moved to China and Europe. So they have taken all the containers, they are paying higher freights for it, and they have, what we find, they've created an artificial shortage. So now, this is my yesterday's finding. Now they have created an artificial shortage for containers, and now our products really can't go out of the country. Now we are not able to keep up our dates also for shipping. Shipping. A lot of orders are getting cancelled as well. That is a big concern also for us at the moment. Now we are going back to Russia also. As I earlier said, now Russia also has started opening up, and we also have started promoting into Russia also products. Now, because we have no other go, but we need to look for alternate market. Japan, of course. See, we have the small size shrimps, what we call Poalan and Karikadi, which generally goes for the cup noodles. So if you look back now, when the Fukushima leak had happened, the nuclear power reactor issue had happened. There was only one product which really, really went, really sold in Japanese market was this cup noodle. The reason why all you needed was boiling water for it. So one of the main ingredients for it was small size shrimps. Now that again we still find it's a cheaper product. It's a meal by itself also. Now that is one of the reasons why Japan again started to stock more also. No, because it's a cheaper product, the cup noodle product. So that could be another reason for the increase to the Japanese market. But they are also very cautious, but they're also. So another issue what happened there again in Japan was they would have even bought even much more, but the Olympics were supposed to happen in Japan, but unfortunately, so they had made all their stocks also. They were all prepared for it. But unfortunately, that also didn't happen. So they also were sitting on huge stocks. There was a time when, sometime back, in Japan, Japanese buyers used to say, do not ship right now because our stores are full in Japan. They couldn't find a store also. But slowly they are letting out their stocks, and now it's slowly growing. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And there were some questions about whether our consignments has been rejected by China for COVID-19 detection and all that. Some questions were coming. What I can say is that, China, they are detecting that, and the news is already with, we have sent the information to all the exporters. Our director has written a detailed letter. So I don't want to explain that more in this forum. But I would like to point out one trend in the development of non-tariff trade barriers. What initially we had mainly food safety related non-tariff trade barriers, whether it is antibiotics or salmonella or E. coli or whatever. If you remember South Africa, we had some issues some time back. So this was kind of a non-tariff trade barrier initially. The second stage of non-tariff trade barrier is with what we see in Australia, Canada, and other places where they are saying that China also is insisting that your shrimp, farmed shrimp exported should not have any white spot virus, for example. This is kind of, I would say this, personally, my feeling is that this is a non-tariff trade barrier. It's a barrier to the trade. That is one technique the importing countries are using. The third phase, I would say, the emerging phase is the COVID-19 as a tool to restrict the trade. And China is pioneering in that. They have, initiated this kind of activities now. And fortunately, we have given the guidelines to processing plants and they are implementing it. I'm glad to say that, I was speaking to our officers in the states where they go every week. One of our officers will go to at least 2 processing units to monitor the implementation of COVID-19 guidelines. And if there is any lacuna, our officers are guiding the processing plant, personnel. Please take it very seriously. And we are also conducting training programs through our extension arm NetFish on specifically focused on COVID-19 aspects. So please call your MPEDA field officers in your region, ask them to come for training program or even for auditing your COVID-19 protocols. And I'm glad to say that, some of the processing plants in Maharashtra especially, they are doing more than what is required. So we don't, in our COVID guidelines, our COVID guidelines are based on the international guidelines of WHO, FAO, and Center for Disease Control, all international agencies. It doesn't say that, workers' oxygen level has to be checked. Some of the processing plants are even doing that, which is helping the workers, as well as it is an additional measure in place. So this is a very good sign. And I'm sure that our exporters, India, will be able to cope up with it. And as Alex and Jagdish has said, we were going through hell especially in the initial phase of April, May, June, July period. The containers are rejected. The containers are not cleared. Now we are facing the container shortage, as he was saying. I'm sure we will find out a way. One question I would like to ask you is, Alex, the question is, what can be done to increase the percentage share of value-added products in exports? This is the question we have received.
It's a good question, actually. Now, we always speak about value addition. So now, if you really look at, let's say, take for example, a breaded product or something. Now, one thing, we need a proper regular buyer for it. So unless we have a proper backup with a good buyer, it has to be a joint venture arrangement with a proper buyer and importer. So not many people take this product. So it really goes only to a specific market and to specific buyers who really have the capacity to buy them. It's not like a general commodity product, like if you take, for example, like a block product or a regular add-on product, which can be easily marketed. If one person doesn't take, it can go to another person again. But if you look at such a niche products, it goes to specific people and to specific markets. So the most crucial thing is, if you really look at the Vietnamese or the Chinese, so they have a specific buyers wherever it is, let it be Europe or let it be in US. They are tied up with big importers who are into these products. So we need tie up with people, with such importers. That is very much required. And it would always be better if they also can invest. So at least they also have a responsibility, and they have some investment here, and there is a commitment also towards the exporter. So that is one thing. Now, if you're going to invest in, let's say a credit factory or whatever it is, now if the buyer also has some stake in it, definitely will stand by us. Now, if you look at China, a lot of all the US, little bit US or Europe also, they have all invested in factories in China. So that should happen in India also. So we need to get the importers to invest in India, probably with like a joint ventures. Only then it will really take off. Now we can talk about value addition, but this is really required. That's what my perspective.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. But how you pointed out that China, most of the buyers have a tie-up or a joint investment in the processing unit or in the production unit. How we can make it happen in India? What could be the steps we should do to make that happen in India? For example, nowadays people are saying that China plus one strategy. That means China, they have already got a production base, but they would like to have another alternative secondary production base in other countries also. Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia are all competing to attract investments. So what can we do to make that happen so that investment, especially in joint venture, can come to in India? What is your opinion on that?
Another thing is, when China, when the trade war actually started with China and US and all, so they immediately, shifted their production centers to Vietnam. So Vietnam also has an added advantage because of the FTA. Now for them, it's a 0% duty. So I really don't know how. I don't think India, can FTA, because we have a lot of other issues also. So so that is one of the reasons, but that we may not be able to compete with Vietnam for the moment, at least, because of this duty issue. That's what my personal feel is.
Yeah, that's a major issue, because Vietnam has FTA with not only with China and the ASEAN countries, which are big markets. Recently, they have an FTA with the EU also. Similar is the situation between Ecuador and China, and Ecuador and the EU also. So we have to have, I won't say that we don't have a fair playing ground here. That is true. I think we have come to the end of our discussion, because most of the questions I have placed it before you, and we could also see one of the questions were asking that 17% decrease may not be true. It will be more than 17%. That is one observation by one of the participants. And what I would respond to that is, it will be the other way around. Instead of 17% decline, maybe it may improve to 16 or 15%. The reason being, this is only a provisional data. All the data is based on the export documents, shipping documents we collect from the exporters. So it will not, it will not increase. The decline will not be more than 17% or 18%, whatever we are showing. It will improve. That's what I feel. And I would, now we have come to the end of this program. I would request my colleague, Mr. Bhushan Patil, who is a statistician with us as Assistant Director in Head Office. I would request Mr. Bhushan to say the final word of thanks. Bhushan, please.
So I first of all thank you all. This was a very nice session. I first thanks our Honorable Chairman, Shri K.S. Srinivas sir, for supporting and guiding us consistently upon all the nitty-gritties of the data. He continuously reviews all the data on a periodic basis and gives us inputs about what side of the data could be checked. And thank you, sir, for supporting us to conduct this webinar series in statistics, so that we can have a discussion with stakeholders in marine export and update them about what is the current export realization in the industry. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. I thank our panelist, Shri Jagdish Fofandi, sir, President, National President, SEAI, and Shri Alex, sir, SEAI Regional President, Kerala. Sir, I want to thank you that in a very short notice we communicated to you for joining for this session, and you attended this, and not only attended, but all the questions discussed in this forum was so thoughtful. It was not only discussed in terms of the product, but also in terms of the geography, how different geographies are making strategies to have the trade, to overcome the trade barriers. It was very thoughtful, sir. Thank you very much to both of you for joining for this session, and we look forward to have your presence in the future series as well. Thank you, sir. I thank you, our Honorable Director Marketing, Dr. Karthikeyan, sir, for supporting us in this forum, for guiding us in a different dimension of statistics. Being a subject expert, he has always asked us to look into the different factors of from source like aquaculture, marine cod to plant, and the overseas parts also. Thank you, sir, for supporting us in this webinar. Thank you, sir. I would now move to our Joint Director Marketing, Sri Anil Kumar, sir. I would like to emphasize here that with Anil, sir, we have the regular interactions about how the trend of different items and markets our countries are going. He always used to give us the views about what could be shown emphasizedly in the slides or in the forums, and what topics should be highlighted. And it is a great learning for us to present this in with our stakeholders. Thank you very much, sir, for your great support, and we need this. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I would then give my many thanks to our today's presenter, Dr. Gibinkumar, Deputy Director, Statistics and PNMP. Sir, being the statistics in charge, he always follows up with the data. That the data is we are regularly compiling the data, entering the data from field offices. We get it, and we make sure that it is reconciled on time, and we are presenting it on the right time to our stakeholders, right from the ministry to our exporters. And this is the result that today we could present in front of you. The first April to October data, not only September, but we could show you the provisional data of October also. So I thank Jibin sir for all the support. I will then thanks to our participants that within a few days of span they have participated in this session and given their testimonials, their views about different dimensions like increase in certain market for certain product in aquaculture side, in marine cod side. It was thoughtful, and we have taken a note of this, and accordingly we will step up in the future webinar series. I thank all the participants, exporters, farmers, and stakeholders in this industry. Then I particularly thanks all our field officers that in a very short span of time they have reached to all the stakeholders in different states, and this requires huge efforts to take success for this kind of webinar series. Thank you to all the officers, our officials in field offices, sir. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I thank my staff from the statistics section for supporting for all this series of webinars. Thank you very much, sir. I thanks again all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bhushan. Thank you. Before we close up, I would like to thank all the participants who had participated for this program, panelists. One more point I would like to highlight here is we are going to come out with a webinar on European market, most probably sometime in mid of December. Please do send us your questions on European market. We will collect these questions and give it to the expert the buyer. We are identified an importer who will speak to us about the market. So please send in your questions, which we can send it to him so that he will be in a position to answer it very clearly during the webinar. So please expect this webinar sometime in by the middle, around 15th of December we are planning. Please send your questions to all our field officers. They will send to us. And once again, with the help of, guidance of chairman and director only, we could organize this program. Thanks to all the panelists, both the panelists and all my teammates in head office and field office for organizing this wonderful program. And congratulations to Dr. Gibin for giving a very good presentation. Thank you very much, and namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Anil. Thank you so much.
Thank you.